Welcome back to the Team DCU podcast, the podcast where you can learn about the DCU experience from current students. My name is Sinead McCrohan, and today I am joined by Emma Kilcawley Hemani, who is a final year journalism student in DCU. Emma, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, thank you so much for coming today. How are you finding it being back on campus?
I love it, it's very different though.
Yeah.
Considering the entire of last year was all online.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a while. So, journalism, Emma. Throw your mind back to, say, 5th or 6th year you. How did you land on journalism at DCU?
To be honest with you, I've always, ever since I was like 4 or 5, always loved reading, writing, anything to do with kind of telling stories. I used to write so many short stories and like personal essays. So it was always kind of a route that I wanted to go into. I was always reading magazines as well and like listening to the radio and that kind of stuff. So I knew it was probably going to be journalism. I was kind of tied between journalism and psychology. I landed on journalism, came to the DCU open day, and when I was like 15 or 16, and it felt like home, and I just knew this is where I'm supposed to be, and no matter what, I'm gonna be here. And then put it down as my first choice, and here I am. So
that's the same sentiment that so many DCU students have, is that when they came to the open day, they just went, yeah, this is for me. And hopefully this year we'll be able to have our on-campus open day so that prospective students can have the same experience as you did. So you got into DCU, here you are, you walked in as a first year. Was it what you expected?
Yes, and just to say that the feeling when I finally walked in here as a student and not as someone just visiting the open day was something that I'll never get over. Even now, I kind of, I'll have days on the bus coming in where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh wow, I'm a student in DCU. I'm in my final year, which it doesn't feel like it's been 3 years, but it definitely has been, even more than I've expected. I mean, I this year got the incredible chance to be a student ambassador, and honestly, it's like one of the best things that I've done throughout the entire college experience. The lecturers, they're all so nice and encouraging, and kind of you can go to them with any questions. It doesn't even have to be about the course. I went to one of my lectures the other day. I write for a publication, kind of, freelance or whatever, but I went to him about a couple of questions that I had in regards to the interviewing process, and honestly he was so happy to kind of answer them. It's not just, the lecturers here aren't just kind of there to answer any questions you have about the course. It's about any aspect of kind of life outside the course, in terms of, if you're applying for a journalism role or if you're writing for a publication, whatever it may be, they're very helpful with that kind of stuff.
And they're so passionate about their areas as well, that if you come to them with an interest in something, of course they're going to be so excited to help you. So in terms of your lecturers and the modules you were studying, what can a student of journalism expect in years, say 1, 2 and 3?
Well, first of all, I will mention that there's a very broad kind of range of modules. You don't come into journalism and it's just writing. You come in and you learn about the production of all types of news. You learn about kind of video reporting, audio reporting. So I mean, we would have had now unfortunately ours was cut short, but we would have had a module here in the actual radio studio to learn about kind of being on air, but also being in kind of behind the scenes with all the kind of buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you get to learn quite a lot. I have a love in like kind of entertainment reporting, but also crime reporting. So this year I'm actually doing, we're touching on reporting crime, we're touching on reporting entertainment. I think it was probably the first week we were here, the lecturer asked us, kind of, what's your interest? Like, why are you here? What are you interested in doing in the future? What kind of journalist do you want to be? And you'll find that no matter what area you say, there will be something that touches on it. You will learn more about it throughout the course. But even kind of what I would say is when you come in first year, you might be thinking, it's first year journalism. I'm really scared. Like there's a lot of work. But honestly, it's all worth it. I mean, I now look at the world and media in such a completely different way than I did before. Before I would have just taken the words of whatever the journalist had said on the paper or whatever was written or broadcast, and I would have been like, okay, fair enough. But now I delve into it and I'm like, well, why did they choose to report this? Why did they say this? Why did they interview this person? Honestly, it changes the way that you look at the world so much, and but for the better. You're always questioning could this be a story? Could I write about this? Could I report on this? It's, and I'm not even a fully fledged journalist yet, but I'm only in third year and I'm thinking like that. And it's honestly, it's a really, really good course.
Yeah, those sort of critical thinking skills are, I suppose, skills that maybe you wouldn't think that you'd be studying in a journalism course. I'd say there's a misconception that it's just going to be, I need to learn how to write, I need to learn how to produce, I need to know politics and laws and things like this. But actually, as you said, at the crux of it is critical thinking and creativity, which I'm sure filters out into your hobbies as well. As you said, you're writing for a publication, but you're also heavily involved in clubs and societies.
Yes, yeah. So in second year, last year, I decided that I would kind of we have this society in DCU which is called Her Campus, and I started writing for them last year. I loved writing for them, loved it so much, and then this year I'm actually the editor-in-chief. So I mean, not only does it look great on the CV but I've used kind of everything I've learned throughout these past 3 years to not only help me in my writing, but also to kind of, help me in terms of being the best editor-in-chief I can be, or being the best journalist for whatever publication it is. And I fully believe, like, it's quite shocking to me that I'm actually getting paid for my journalism skill in third year. I genuinely think that if I hadn't done this course here in DCU, that wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely. There's so many opportunities that come your way in DCU, whether it's through the course directly, through clubs and societies, but this course actually does provide you an opportunity to do an internship. So this will be the end of your third year you'll do it, so you haven't done it just yet, but any ideas where you'd like to do your internship?
But I'd love to get some more experience on kind of the writing, like how exactly the news day works, like when you're actually in there, when stories are assigned to you, that kind of stuff. I don't know why, I just prefer being like writing or even presenting or whatever. Mm-hmm. So if I could just get experience in any of them aspects, I would love it. As I said, entertainment was always kind of a big passion of mine. Mm-hmm. If it could be for an entertainment publication, even better, because I have a head full of the Kardashian knowledge, which I will happily
we'll do another podcast just about the Kardashian drama at the minute.
But even music, I love music, love reporting. Like I had a blog which lasted about 5 days, where I was reviewing music that was coming out, like albums and that kind of stuff. I love, honestly, at this point I don't mind what it would be that I was reporting on, but I'd love the intro experience to be something either along the lines of entertainment, music, or even crime, if that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And the intro office will be able to help you with that. If you came to them with an idea, they'd be able to see if they have existing companies they're partnering with, or they might be able to cast the net a little bit wider in terms of where they go. But by the sounds of it, no matter where you end up, you've got a portfolio already, which is so important in the world of media. I mean, part of it's to do with your CV, certainly, but they really need to see your writing or your videos or whatever you're into. So you've got this whole bank of things ready to go already. I mean, if you think back to 6th year you, did you think in 4 years' time you would have all of this under your belt?
Absolutely not. I mean, even last year I was saying to my mum, and I was just speaking about how the world of journalism is so kind of, nothing is a given. Mm-hmm. It's not a given that you're going to leave college and have a job. Yeah. And then it's like, whatever happened, I came into this year, and it's amazing, and I feel so grateful that I've been given the skills that I need to kind of have that portfolio, as you're saying. And I mean, it's just, I haven't even graduated yet, and I have done all these things, and it just feels really. I'm also really grateful to all the lecturers, though, because I feel like, if even one of the lecturers had been replaced by someone who was not as passionate or not as good at their job, it wouldn't be like this,
Yeah, so a combination of, as you said, the skills you were taught, but also your own drive and determination really comes into it as well. And even about getting a job, recently DC was ranked number 1 in Ireland and 23rd in the world for our graduate employment rates. And it's everything you mentioned today, be it the opportunities that come in clubs and societies, or through the lecture directly, or an internship. We were really trying to create very employable graduates. So just as we finish up, Emma, any words of wisdom wisdom for a prospective student who's maybe on a walk right now, listening to this or watching us online, what would you give them as advice?
I would say if journalism is something that you want to do, or even just to touch on something else, I mean, journalism paves the way for so many other opportunities. Journalism and PR are closely related. So, I mean, if you're interested in any type of communication, whether that be you communicating to the public or businesses communicating with their customers, whatever it is, if you are set on journalism, I would honestly tell you that DCU is the place to go. Not even for just the course, but also for, you know, the clubs and societies. The people in DCU are so nice. Everything about DCU is positive in my experience, and I'm sure in the experience of so many other students. So I would say, you know, put in the work. I know that you might have so many people telling you that at the minute, and I know I was very fed up of it. But honestly, it is true. Put in the work now, and you will reap the benefits. You will, you know, if you're anything like me, one day 2 or 3 years down the line, you'll be on the bus coming to DCU and you'll be sitting there thinking, wow, okay, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And it goes by in the blink of an eye.
I know.
It does. Emma, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. That was such a great insight into journalism and everything it has to offer. And I'm no doubt that we're going to see your name out there in the world of media within a couple of months after graduating. So that's the end of today's episode. If anyone's listening and they want to contact either ourselves in student recruitment or Emma, you can get us at studenthelp@dcu.ie, which is our general inbox for any queries, or indeed Emma is on UniBuddy as well, which is a platform where you can chat free of charge to our student ambassadors about DCU courses, student life, anything like that. So thank you again to Emma, and we'll see you next time.